Alright, this is part 2 of all the coloring books I have completed in the last, like, say, I think it's 3 years. I can't recall the very first one I made, but I'm pretty sure it was 2023 when I first started completing books. But again, this is 100 Animals by Jade Summer. It's 4 books in one, so it has their cute cats and I think Animals 1 and 2, I think, with these, and then Christmas Animals, I think, was the 4th one. I also have these 4 books in the other size where they do 2 sets of every image. So I'll probably be coloring these again at some point in life. But the Christmas ones are in the back. And then we got cute cats. And then, like, say, Animals 1 and 2, which this one I was trying to do a glow-in-the-dark dog. Anyway, just something different. And as you can tell, I think I've mentioned in other videos about, you know, use your imagination. There's no wrong way to color. And I didn't want to use a lot of blacks, browns, and grays to color a lot of these animals. So I just went and I did them. Like, who has a purple pink hamster? I mean, nobody. Unless they dye them. You know, a pink wolf. This was the video or the page I did when I did the coloring tutorial on the sunset, which I've gotten better at since that video, so I might have to do it again at some point. Red frog, gold owl, orange pig, pink bird, there's probably pink birds, cobra, a purple monkey, I mean, whatever, neon yellow shark, green mouse. It was just a lot of fun to go through and not color things the way that they look in real life. A blue bunny, I mean, come on. Purple bird, red tortoise, you know. So, pink elephant. But that one was a lot of fun. I look forward to doing the other books at some point. Let's see if I can grab a stack and just put it up here. This is Creepy Chibi by Coco Waiko. I did this one around Halloween, I think it was, back in 2024. These ones were a lot of fun. It took getting used to the black background and trying not to bleed over too much. And during the month of October, my husband and I just watch Halloween-themed movies or animes or TV shows. So during that month, it's just easy to get into the mood for spooky coloring. This was another book I tried to copy the cover with one of the pictures on the inside. It took a lot of work to do, but I think it turned out the way I wanted it. Oh. I think this is the one. Yeah, I think that was the one that we can't go through. Alright, so another one, 100 Magical Patterns by Jade Summer. Again, just got the color cubes when I started doing this one. They're a lot more big and open than a lot of the smaller detailed ones that you saw earlier. So, yeah. And of course, before that, 100 Amazing Patterns by Jade Summer. Again, Color Cubes was addicted. This is back in 2024 when I got the first set. Some of the pictures in this book, you'll notice that they're kind of streaky and gross looking. that was back when I was actually, like this one, when I had water-based markers, when I first started coloring, and I had put the book aside, and after I got into Ohulu markers and the color cubes, I pretty much went back and finished the book, and I am quite happy with it now. That was the very first one I did back in 2021. So yeah. American Scary Legends, not for the faint of heart on this one, because it does have some gore. Wildwood, Missouri, Zombie Road, it just goes through and it talks about all the different urban legends and different things. This is, you can tell, this is like about a year or so after I started using Ohulu markers. I was still learning how to chase the ink, as you can tell. I wish I could buy this book again and do it again, because it was so fun, and I think I would come up with so many different ways to do this a second time. But unfortunately, Coco Waiko doesn't have this one available anymore. But it was a lot of fun. As a horror fan, I really, really enjoyed it. I just wish I could go back and do it again with some stuff, because I think I would come up with some really neat concepts to color this again. But that's okay. I did it. I enjoyed it. A little too much. But anyway. Spooky Cutie. Another one by Coco Waiko. They had a lot of horror-themed books coming out at the one point. Again, this was back in 2023. This was actually in June, according to my signature here. I must have been on a horror kick. But it was a lot of fun to do. Again, I had to get used to the black background, but it actually helped save my markers not having to color a background. So that was a lot of fun. I made that a D20 dice. So anyway, this one of my good friends got for me, because I call her a hippie, because she's my little hippie. She loves wearing funky dresses, and it's like she time warps to like the 70s because of the clothes she wears sometimes, and I just love her to death. But she knew I was getting into coloring, and she decided that she would get me this book. And I had to get used to the black backgrounds, but it was so fun to color this book because there's so many things in it. And it was just a few months after I got my alcohol markers for the first time, and I was learning how to chase ink. But it was just so fun. But so yeah, I love that book. Let's see. We're getting to the bottom. I might be able to do it with this second video. Alright, another Coco Waiko, Beauties in Fairyland. This one also reminded me of my friend that gave me the hippie book, because she loves fairies. And I need to get out another one of my fairy books and color a picture or something for her, frame it, and give it to her for Christmas. You can see this is where I was learning to chase the ink. Again, this is about a year after I got my Ohulu markers for the first time, so I was learning. If I could get this book again and color it again, I would, and I probably would be so much better at chasing ink than I was here. I started doing some pictures where I used just all reds or all greens, just to do something different. But again, I loved the back black backgrounds on some of them. That way it saved me from using my ink. But it was just so much fun to color. Either that, or I thought about doing my 3D art program and making a poster size fairy picture and giving it to her for Christmas, because I've made posters before with my 3D art program back when I used to do conventions with my comic book. So I don't know. Anyway. Alright, so Galaxy Queen. Again, this one's no longer available, but Coco Waiko. I really enjoyed this book. Again, I wish I could buy it again and do it again, because this was like a few months after I got my Ohulu markers and I was learning to chase ink, and I'm sure I could do a way better job now than what I did here on some of the pictures, because I was learning to blend, so I hadn't watched any tutorials at the moment when I was doing this. I was also dealing with a lot of my markers starting to dry out because I had bought them from Amazon, and that's when I found out I could contact Ohulu, and they sent me a full replacement. This picture is actually Chiana from Farscape. I colored her like it because it reminded me of her, and I tagged Gigi Edgley in it when I posted it to my arts and gaming page on Facebook, and she really liked it. She thought it was great. My husband and I had met her at a convention a few years prior to that, and we never realized how small and short she was. She is so adorable. I love her. One of my husband's best buddies actually got jealous because he had a huge crush on her in Farscape. So it was so fun to meet her and actually see that she enjoyed that picture as much as I enjoyed coloring it. Again, I tried to copy the cover. I got splotchy because one of the colors was drying out and I had to go over it again with another color, and I was trying to learn blending. It turned out okay, but again, I wish I could go back and do it again. It would turn out so much better. So, anyways. Again, I think this was the very first one I colored by Lurza May. And it's her Fantasy Kitties. And I pulled it out during the time my husband and I were actually playing Pathfinder, which, for those that don't know, it's like D&D, but it's a different D20 game. So, and at the time we were talking about rolling up characters that were cat race. So, yeah. These books are harder to flip through because they're so thin. So, it was a lot of fun. I thought about buying the book again and doing it again, but you know. Anyway, this is Magical Mermaids by Jade Summer. I think this was one of the very last full-size books they ever released that was amazing. I wish they would go back to this style and do eras like 1920 themed book, a 1930 themed book, something. But I went through it because I noticed there was a lot of pictures of certain mermaids that were being shown again through the book. So I tried to color those characters the same as other characters if they showed up again. This was back in 2024 when I finished this. And some pictures there was doubles of, like, I think this one had a double. I started doing themes, like I was watching a lot of Sailor Moon during this time, so I did like Sailor Mercury. That one, I think, no. Like this one had two pictures of the same. That one's supposed to be Tuxedo Mask and Prince Darien. Christmas theme. This one had a double image. That one's supposed to be Sailor Uranus. There's that one. Sailor Venus. Sailor Neptune. Like, she's got a full picture coming up. I had that one when I did the explaining how to use Ohulu markers. That one I had based off anime I was watching. Cat Planet Cutie, I think it was. The character, Sailor Mars. Jupiter. That one is supposed to be a rendition of Lady Death as a mermaid. Mini Moon and Saturn. Again, that's a few that are doubles. Doubles. There's that other character. There's the other character. Another one. And I didn't color that one because it was part of the Vampire Romance, which I have in the other books. But we're coming up on 17 minutes again, so I think we're going to have to do this in 3 parts. So let me turn this off and restart again.